Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is there a link between personality traits and driving style? So this is an interesting question, and oftentimes we think of this in terms of aggressive driving. We see people in our daily lives in different contexts, and then when they get behind the wheel of a car, they can change a lot. Their personality doesn't seem to be congruent with their driving style. Now, overall, personality traits are related to driving style. So let's take a quick look at the driving styles and the personality traits, and then I'll discuss how they are associated. So there is no set definition of driving styles, but I'm going to use one definition that's been put forward that has 4 different types. The first is the careful driving style. So this is somebody that generally tries to avoid incidents and accidents when they're driving, and they tend to be courteous. Then we have the reckless driving style. So this is one characterized by high sensation seeking. So speeding and taking corners quickly, behavior like that. Not necessarily aggressive, that's a different driving style, but just reckless. Then we have the anxious driving style, and this is someone who views driving as a stressor or a chore, and they'd rather avoid driving. They can be safe or unsafe depending on the particular person, but the core feature is that there's a lot of anxiety when they're operating a vehicle. And then the last driving style is the angry, sometimes referred to as the hostile angry driving style. And this one is definitely associated with aggressive driving. An individual with this driving style could also be considered reckless, but they are, as I mentioned, 2 different styles. So now let's take a look at the personality traits. Just like the driving styles, there are a number of models for personality traits. I like to use what's called the 5-factor model, and it's remembered by the acronym OCEAN. So we have openness to experience. So this is when individuals like the arts or philosophy and like to experience new things. Conscientiousness, so somebody who's high in conscientiousness is not impulsive, they're careful, they like to plan things out. Extraversion, this would be how positive somebody is and how much they like to socialize, how much energy they get from socialization as compared to introversion, where somebody feels drained when they're around other people. Then we have agreeableness, so this is how much somebody values cooperation over competition and how altruistic they are and how much they trust other people. And then we have neuroticism. So neuroticism, we see anxiety, depression, and negative feelings. So now looking at the driving styles compared to the 5-factor model, the personality traits. With the careful driving style, we typically see a high level of agreeableness, a high level of conscientiousness, and a high level of openness to experience. So this one really isn't surprising in terms of the personality traits that we associate with it. Then we have the reckless driving style. Here we see high extraversion, low agreeableness, and low conscientiousness. And again, this isn't surprising. With the high extraversion, there's excitement seeking, and with the low conscientiousness, there's impulsivity. With the low agreeableness, there would be a decreased concern for the feelings of other people, and more of a competitive feel than a cooperative feel. So again, when we look at these personality traits with the reckless driving style, it's not really surprising how they line up. Now, with the anxious driving style, we see a higher level of neuroticism. And with the angry driving style, we also see a high level of neuroticism, but also a high level of extraversion, a low level of agreeableness, and a lower level of conscientiousness. So the angry driving style matches up pretty well with the reckless driving style, except the high level of neuroticism. Now, it's interesting with the extraversion trait and the angry driving style, a high level of extraversion only predicts physical aggression and not verbal aggression. So that's a little bit of an unexpected finding in terms of the association between the angry driving style and extraversion. Now, low conscientiousness and the angry driving style, that predicts both verbal and physical aggression. So with these associations between driving styles and personality traits, how do we explain when somebody's personality seems to change when they get behind the wheel? Well, what we're really talking about here is anonymity, and I talk about this in a different video. But what can happen is that some of these personality traits can be expressed differently when they feel like there's no consequences for their behavior. So yes, a person's personality can seem to change when they're driving, but that's most likely because of the anonymity. I hope you found this description of driving styles and personality traits to be interesting. Thanks for watching.